Hi everyone, welcome to this video explaining the ME440 power analyzer. So first let's get power to the device. So on the side here we've got a barrel plug that we can plug in for 5 volt and the 2-pin adapter that you can just plug into the power supply. And at the back you'll see if you open up these 4 screws, there's 2 lithium ion batteries here that supplies the power to the device if there's no external power. The batteries will last about 10 hours, so if you're going to lock longer than 10 hours then you need the external power supply. Okay, so to turn it on, just press the power button for 5 seconds and then it will turn on. Okay, great. So we're on the home screen. Here you can see all the different factors that's being measured. First screen is voltage, then current, then power, energy, voltage total harmonic distortion, current total harmonic distortion. So at the moment it's set to single phase, so that's why it's only showing the first phase. We'll see now how to go to the other to change it to 3 phase. Also on the top here you can see the green icon is lit up to show that it's getting power, so if you take it out it will disappear, and also the green battery icon will show that there's batteries in, and then you'll see the current date and time there as well. Okay, so to enter the settings menu, you just press escape, then change it to that set is selected. If it's blue it's selected, and then press OK, and then the password is 1000, so just move to the left, press 1 up and press OK, and here you can change the settings. Okay, let's go through all the settings in the settings menu. So just to give a quick overview, we've firstly got wire, then current, voltage, record, LAN, harmonics, password, date time, demand, reset, and function. Okay, so let's go back to the first item, wire settings. So that's the different installation types that you have. So let's start off with 3-phase 4-wire. So that's your typical 3-phase installation where you've got your 3 conductors and 1 neutral wire, and then you've got 3-phase 3-wire. That's where you've got just the 3 conductor wires and no neutral. So that's typically on motors and inverters and some other devices that just use a balanced 3-phase and doesn't have a neutral wire. Okay, but for most 3-phase installations you'll select 3-phase 4-wire. It's important to select the right type of mode, otherwise it will give you the incorrect data. Okay, and if you go to single phase, the first one is 3-phase 3-wire, live neutral. That's typical North American and some other countries that use this system. It's not used in Europe and the rest of the world. And also this one, 1-phase 2-wire, live, that's also your typical North American system that we don't use in Europe and the rest of the world. Okay, and then okay, we've been there. So yeah, to measure normal single phase you use 1-phase 2-wire, live neutral. That's the setting that most other countries use for single phase. Good. Okay, and then you can also change the frequency either from 60 Hz or 50 Hz, also normally 50 Hz. Let's just change back there to 3-phase 4-wire. Okay, good, and save your changes. Okay, let's go through the current settings. So if you go in there, you'll see the settings for phase A, B and C, or phase line 1, 2 and 3, and for the neutral wire. So let's go into ABC. So firstly you can select either Rogowski coil or CT, arc coil or CT. So if we go into Rogowski coil, you'll see it's the first setting is FSA. So if we go down there, that stands for full scale amps. So that's basically the range that the meter can measure or will measure. So that can be changed from either 600, 6000 or 3000. So and also it's important to make sure that the range is set correctly for the coils you're using. So for the ME440 coils, that goes up to I think 600 amps. You'll see there's a sensitivity of 50 millivolts per kiloampere. So it's important to match that with the setting here, which is 50 millivolts per kiloampere. And if we change it to 3000 amperes, you'll see the sensitivity change from 50 to 85 millivolts per kiloampere. That you'll use with the NRC 100 coils. That's got a sensitivity of 85 millivolts per kiloampere. Okay, so leave that there and it's change. And just to illustrate the CT settings, so you'll use that for these ST08 clamps, current clamps. And there you can set the primary and secondary amperes and millivolts. Okay, and on the back here you'll see the different current ports, phase A, B, C and neutral wire. Obviously these colors can be customized to your region. Okay, so if we just go out there to the main menu again. Okay, so if you continue to the voltage menu, you can see here you can set the voltage for phase ABC 1, 2, 3, and it can either be direct or VT, stands for voltage transformer. And then if you want to measure high voltage, you can set it a ratio here to get it down to the correct voltage. The maximum input voltage for the meter is 480 volts AC, phase to neutral. So let's just change that back to direct connection. And then you can also set the same for the neutral conductor, either direct or voltage transformer. Okay, so if you go into the record screen and then store, you can either disable it or enable it. So if it's enabled, it means as soon as the meter is turned on, it will start recording at the set interval of set period. So in this case, each 60 seconds. You can change that to be more or less by using up and down buttons and changing it. You also notice that if it's enabled, the little green SD sign is green. And if we disable it and save it, you'll see the SD card is SD sign is back to white. So if you go into go back to the store, it will also indicate here the amount of space that's being used. There's 31.1 gigabytes available. That's quite a lot. It will record more than a year worth of data or longer at 60 seconds. Obviously, if you make it 1 second, it will decrease. It will make a lot bigger files, but 60 seconds is normally a good period to set the meter at. Okay, so if you want to download, we first have to insert a USB disk. So we can insert a USB disk or stick just here on the side. There's space for a USB stick. Okay, and just go out and back in again. And you can set the time period that you want to download it. And you can select either basic data or basic and harmonic data, or just the harmonic data. So just select basic data normally, that's good enough, and you can then download the CSV file to the memory stick that you can then later on upload to your computer and analyze in Excel. So just press OK to download and start download. And once it peeps, it's done downloading, so there wasn't a lot of data on now. And also note that for it to download data, you have to disable the logging of data. So if it's enabled and we try and download, it will give you a message, please disable store before download, or logging before downloading. Okay, so you move on to the LAN menu. Here you can set the IP address, either to be assigned by DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, automatically, or to be assigned manually. So you can enable or disable DHCP here. And then you can set your IP address, net mask and gateway address. Quite normally the default address is 5, and on the side here you'll see there's a RJ45 LAN port, and it uses Modbus over Ethernet to communicate to the meter. There's a software application that can communicate to the meter, or you can also use gateways to access the data that the meter records. Okay, so if we go into the harmonic screen, you can just set which harmonics it records, up to 5 different ones. Okay, and here you can set the password. Default password is 1000, so you can just move to the left or right and change the password. If you set it to 00, it's disabled. So let's just leave it at the default of 1000 and press OK. Okay, so if you move on to the date and time screen, you can set the date and time here. So you can just move left and right to access the different entities. And it's important to set the date and time correctly, otherwise the date and time will be incorrect in your logging data. So it's important to check this before you start your logging. Okay, so if we go into our demand screen, you can set it to be either fixed or sliding, and you can also set the period here, either 15 or 30 is typically typical periods that maximum demand is measured in. Okay, and then if we go into the reset menu, you can reset the minimum and maximum values of your power and current. It's also a good idea to reset this before you start logging. And here you can reset your peak maximum demand, and also your energy that was logged over that period. Okay, and lastly you can go to the function menu, and here for these different function buttons you can assign different functions. So for example F1, you can go to the voltage, the current, the wire. So typically wire is a good option there. Here you can set either CTs or Rogowski coils. There you can do the enabling and disabling of recording and download data, and there you can reset the maximum values and peak values and energy. So that's these shortcuts buttons that can access those menu items. Okay, and then just save the changes. Great, so that's all the settings of the ME440. Hope it was helpful. If you've got any other questions, you're welcome to contact us.